This is the first time I'm not wearing a hat and it feels odd. Hi, my name is Jay, the HOTDPod. Episode 6, The Princess and the Queen, which is the name of the original short story that The Dance of the Dragons is based on. So, nice mention there. And right into it, it's a big time jump. 10 years since the last episode. And the intro is changing with all the additions of these new bloodstreams on Rhaenyra, Alicent, Daemon. Everybody got kids now. So 10 years later in King's Landing, and it's interesting to see how the power dynamics here have played out. Alicent has been queen for 10 years, which is a high station. And her and Rhaenyra have clearly fallen out even further. And we have yet another birthing scene here with Rhaenyra giving birth to her third child, a Joffrey Velaryon. Alicent requests to see the baby immediately after he's born, and Rhaenyra, despite just having given birth, decides to take the baby to her herself. Much to Alicent's surprise, but she knows what she's doing. And upon looking at the baby, Alicent can tell that this is not Laenor's son. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Alicent throws shade here, encouraging Laenor to keep trying, and eventually maybe one of them will look like him. Just straight out of the book. Viserys shows up here, happy grandfather-like, and he looks terrible. His health looks way worse. He is older now. I think he's lost an arm. It just doesn't look great. The succession issue drawing ever closer. That being done, Rhaenyra leaves, all of this happening just having given birth. And you can see the trail of blood that she leaves behind her as she walks away. Back in the chamber, her other sons Jacaerys and Lucerys here are putting a dragon egg in their newborn brother's crib, which is one way to bond a dragon. Rhaenyra and Harwin Strong here, who is now her protector, I guess, having fallen out with Kristen Cole. Here we see them sharing looks and suggestive comments, and he even goes as far as to ask to hold the baby. This is clearly these boys' father. I mean, look at their hair. And the boys are clearly in the dark as they refer to Laenor as father. We see how Rhaenyra and Laenor's agreement has been active here for the past 10 years, with them letting each other do what they want basically. Although it gets complicated because Laenor hasn't actually fathered a son by Rhaenyra. We see Laenor step out here actually and give them a bit of private time so Harwin can do a bit of daddy duties, I suppose. And the children are all in the dragon pit, and these children all grow up to play significant roles in the Dance of the Dragon. So let's talk about them for a bit. Aegon Targaryen, Viserys and Alicent's oldest son, and some would say the rightful heir to the Iron Throne on account of him being male, the ruler that everyone expects. Aemon Targaryen, the second born son, who notably doesn't have a dragon yet. Important later. We don't see Alicent's third and youngest son, Daeron Targaryen, because I'm assuming at this point he's probably in Old Town serving as a cupbearer in the Hightower court. Jacaerys and Lucerys Velaryon, Rhaenyra's children, who are playing an important part in these rumors against Rhaenyra at court. So the children are all in the dragon pit here as Jacaerys claims his own dragon, and with that we have another dragon cameo. Vermax, who obviously is the Mount of Jace. And he gives us a Dracarys as well. At this point, I think all the children besides Aemond have bonded with their own dragon. Aegon has Sunfire, there's Vermax, Daeron has Tessarion, Helena has Dreamfire, Lucerys has Arax. Anyway, the boys mock Aemond on the fact that he doesn't have a dragon and bring him this pig with wings on it and call it the Pink Dread. Obviously a nod to Balerion, the Black Dread. So basically they're just roasting him like, hey bruh, you don't have a dragon yet, what's up with that? Aemond, with his obsession to bond a dragon, goes deeper into the dragon pit here to find one, I'm assuming. And with that, we finally see Dreamfire on screen. Dreamfire, a she-dragon, produced the egg that Daemon had stolen back in episode 2. Dreamfire is the mount of Helena Targaryen. And Alicent and Helena here have a discussion, and the show here I think is setting up Helena to be one of the Targaryen dreamers. We get a little bit more insight here on how Alicent is as a mother. Aemond comes in to snitch about the boys roasting him, talking about how they gave him a pig instead, and Alicent blames it on the Velaryons. And they do some brilliant foreshadowing here as Alicent tells her son, you will have a dragon someday. And Helena, kind of speaking to herself, says, you have to close one eye, which is just good foreshadowing because Aemon goes on to be known as Aemond One Eye. For the eye, he loses. So Helena seems to be on something with all her dreaming and Targaryen prophetic business. It's worth keeping an eye on things she says in the future, because I'm sure it will have some foreshadowing details. Alicent raises her concerns to Viserys about the parentage of Rhaenyra's children, saying it's a wonder that her children's eggs even hatched. Viserys asks what she means by that, and she's like, come on man, just look at these kids, bro. Alicent saying it's an insult for Rhaenyra to keep on having children like this, of course implying that the children are Harwin Strong's and not her husband Laenor's. And rightfully so, because it is a dangerous thing, because Rhaenyra's heirs would be bastards. And Alicent again blaming the business in the Dragon Pit on the Velaryon boys. Viserys just talks about a horse from his childhood. But it's important also to note that Viserys isn't blind or stupid. He knows what these allegations, what these rumors could mean, what consequences they would have if people talked about them and spread them more. And he asks Alicent not to repeat this conversation with anyone. We see Sir Criston Cole is still alive here and has fully swapped allegiances at this point. He is now Team Green and Alicent's protector, and he clearly doesn't rate Rhaenyra anymore. We see Aegon here jerking into Lord knows what. Just a little bit of insight to the type of character that Aegon is. Obviously, like, he doesn't care about the perception of him not having the burden of being the king's heir on him. Although Alicent isn't of the same mind, and she's pushing this idea into his head that he is the rightful heir, not his half-sister. And Alicent seems to genuinely believe that her children will be in danger should Rhaenyra ascend to the throne. More than that, she asks Aegon if it was his idea to mock his brother, to which he says it was Rhaenyra's children. And I'm sure Alicent knows her son better than anyone and his character, and clearly she doesn't believe that he didn't have a part to play in it. But she is so against Rhaenyra and her children, and basically just reprimands him about taking his own family's side on some Dominic Toretto settings. Alicent here just planting multiple seeds against Rhaenyra's family in Aegon's head. Meanwhile, across the Narrow Sea, Daemon and his family are in Pentos. 10 years later, and we see Daemon has married Laena Velaryon and has 2 children by her, Baela and Rhaela Targaryen. Now these kids clearly have some Velaryon DNA, because look at that 4C texture. Laena Velaryon, we see, is now riding Vhagar, and with that we have perhaps one of the most important dragon cameos in the show so far. Vhagar, the oldest, largest, most fierce dragon alive. And damn, she's huge. And Daemon here is kind of just passing time in Pentos, almost feeling, I guess, like he has no real purpose. Daemon here kind of doing dealings with the Prince of Pentos. And then we get yet another birthing scene here with Laena. And Daemon is presented with the same problem that Viserys had with Aemma. Laena is having complications during this birth and the child will not come. So they would have to cut her open to try and save this child, but that would mean her death. And opposite to his brother, Daemon here doesn't make the choice that Viserys did. In fact, Laena overhears this diagnosis and takes the choice away from Daemon, taking matters into her own hands. And she goes to get Vhagar to Dracarys her to ash, dying a death worthy of a dragon rider as she wanted to. A bit of foreshadowing here, as come the dance, a lot of these dragon riders will go on to die dragon rider deaths. No doubt an occupational hazard which comes with riding fire-breathing lizards. Notably, Vhagar hesitates as well. This is her rider after all, and the person that she's bonded to, giving us a little bit more insight into this dragon rider relationship. Back in King's Landing, Criston Cole here as Master of Arms is training the children, and you can clearly see which side he's on. Viserys is oblivious to the division here, clearly just happy to see his children and grandchildren training together. Criston Cole is favoring the training of Alicent's children, much to Harwin's disapproval, and he calls him out, saying he should give some more attention to the other boys as well. And now we see how Sir Criston here is just baiting Harwin by constantly stressing the Velaryon boys, and he does something here by pitting Aegon against the clearly smaller, weaker Jaehaerys. See the two sides, as Criston Cole advises Aegon and Sir Harwin advises Jace. And Aegon's taken a little bit too much pleasure in this with Sir Criston's insistence, and Harwin intervenes. And Sir Criston Cole manages to bait him into action here by implying that the only reason he's so invested in the boys is because, well, maybe they're his sons. and Sir Harwin rocks him. We see Sir Lionel Strong here reprimand Harwin about the dangers of his relationship with the princess, and Rhaenyra overhears this, being in the secret passage just outside Harwin's room, which implies of course that this is something that she's done in the past, like use the secret passages to link up with Harwin. And with the stepstones falling back in disarray, Laenor tells Rhaenyra that he plans on leaving and going back to battle. Laenor saying that he's done his part faithfully for 10 years, and Rhaenyra reminding him that yeah, while he has, he's also basically lived his best life as per the arrangement. He's saying that the father can't possibly abandon his family in the face of all these allegations and rumors. She then, as the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, orders him to stay by her side. In the Smoke Council, we see the princess and the queen's rocky relationship, and they go at each other a bit over the matter in the Stepstones. In the end, however, Rhaenyra suggests a marriage proposal between her son Jace and Alicent's daughter Helena, as a way to kind of mend the bridge between the two families. Also saying that she would give the dragoness Aemond an egg, and Alicent here kind of just brushes it off, saying she will think about it with the king. Viserys is for the idea, but here we see an insight into how weak of a king Viserys has become, just kind of going along with Alicent's plan. Alicent saying that Viserys can do what he likes when Alicent is cold in her grave. With all the rumors and allegations surrounding his family, Sir Lionel Strong here attempts to quit his position as Hand of the King. Viserys rejects him, asking him what rumors and allegations these could possibly be. And it's an interesting contrast here to Sir Otto Hightower, because Lionel refuses to mention these rumors, which is not great for him because Viserys insists that he must stay in his position in service of the crown. So Lionel instead suggests that he should take his son Harwin away from court in an attempt to, kill off these rumors and allegations. And Alicent isn't really happy with this because it seems like Harwin's just gonna get away with this. And she has a conversation with Harwin's brother here, who has been kind of serving as her unofficial master of whispers. Alicent's intentions and ambitions here kind of come to light too, telling Larys that she just wants someone at court who is partial to her. Larys here perhaps reads too much into this conversation or sees Alicent's true intentions. And so Larys organizes the assassination of his own family. So he organizes some criminals from the black cells under the Red Keep and cuts their tongues off so they might not repeat the details of their crime to anybody. And with a bit of an emotional goodbye, Harwin Strong here says peace out to Rhaenyra and the boys. Nice bit of foreshadowing here too, as Harwin tells Rhaenyra and Joffrey that the next time they meet, he would be a stranger, which the stranger in the Faith of the Seven is the one that represents death, which is very apt considering Larys's plans behind the scenes. Jacaerys here gets a bit emotional and actually asks his mother if Harwin is actually his real father. Because let's be honest, it's not that much of a secret, because these men always sharing these little looks and touches, and I'm not getting off the hair texture, it's different. But anyway, Rhaenyra tells him he's a Targaryen and that's all that matters. And with this, I think the rumors are hitting a little too close to home, with her own kids repeating these allegations to her. And she decides it's finally time to leave King's Landing and head to Dragonstone, far away from the court and all the talk. She tells Laenor that they are done and that they will be leaving, also telling him that he can bring his lover Sir Carl with him. With the words, "We will need every sword," words foretelling of war. And now Harwin and Lionel Strong arrive at Harrenhal, and Larys' plan manages to play out, with his assassins managing to burn them alive as they sleep. And Larys gives an eerie monologue here, all but confessing to Alicent that it was his plan, and that now her father can be called back to court, with the Hand of the King position now open. And Alicent is seemingly mad about this, saying that she didn't order it. Larys telling her that he knows she will reward him in the future, implying of course that when Aegon surely takes the crown, Larys will be rewarded for his loyalty to the Greens. So war looms ever closer. So yeah, let's rate this. I give this one, I guess, a 9.4, mostly because we finally saw Vega in the flesh. But yeah, good episode overall and just very good foreshadowing as well. And I know I say it all the time, but now for real, the dance soon come and heads will roll. So yeah, I'll be back here for the next episode. Until then, peace.